Hi there. So the project I'm going to be making is going to be a live edge, like a harvest table, kind of kitchen table type thing. I managed to get some maple slabs off of one of my wife's colleagues at work. This is them here. So you can see I've got 3 of them here. They're about 10 feet long. They got, if you look at it, there's some spalting in it, some nice colors in that. So 2 of them are going to be on the ends, obviously, and then I'll have to figure out which one I want to put in the middle and which one's going to go on the sides. So I just went to the lumber store, grabbed a couple of 8-quarter maple boards. I'll show you these ones. So this is them here. I tried to match the color to match the slabs if I can. Well, it's been a couple days. I've selected the wood and I've got it laid out how I want it now. So I made a couple cuts and jointed up the sides. Here, I'll show you what it looks like here. No, obviously these aren't glued up yet, but this is how I'm gonna do it. Probably gonna need to do some planing and stuff on the top once I get this glued up. So it's been a couple of days since I've been down the shop. I got some wormy maple, so I'm going to use that to make the like a trestle style base. Just been doing some planing and jointing and some work getting it dimension. Here, I'll show you what I have. Yeah, so it's this stuff here. You can see the little hole thing. That's where the bug, I guess it's like a little beetle or something, gets into the wood, and then as a result, you get that darker kind of coloring in the wood. That's what you call the wormy maple. So I got a bunch of that, and as you can see, I've chopped it up and planed it and stuff. This is gonna make the base part that I'm gonna use to put the table on later. So I'm still working on putting together the legs, doing some glue ups here. I'll show you what's happening. I think I need some more clamps. Basically, I'm laminating together these two. They're 8-quarter pieces. They're about maybe 1 3/4 each, so not quite 2 inches each, but then together this is going to make, once I cut it out anyways, it's going to make some of the curved legs. So if you look at my design here, so these curves here, that's what I'm going to cut out of this thing using the bandsaw, and then I'm going to make 4 of those. Okay, so I've got all these leg pieces glued up now. So basically it's these pieces here from my rough design there. You can see I got them all cut. Now I haven't shaped them obviously, but this is what I'm going to be using. They're all the right thickness. Cut some templates out of plywood here. Unfortunately, you can see I'm going to be losing, some of this space here. Maybe I could, use the waste for some cutting boards and stuff like that later. But so this is going to be the shape of the curved legs, and then here's the base piece. I made another template just to draw the curves, and then I get cutting those out on the bandsaw to start with. This isn't going to be the final cut, so you can see I left a little bit of space around the line, and then I'm going to clean that up with the router and probably some hand tools. I don't know if there's a better way to do that, but that's how I'm going to do it. So I cut this curve here with the bandsaw. Here you can see the curve, and I've got clamped to the top like my template. Here you can see you've got about 1/4 inch there that I'm going to use. And then I've got this is my new router. I broke my last one. This is a nice little one. It's just a handheld. It's not extremely powerful, but it's really easy to handle. It's nice and small. And I've got on it the template router bit. So you can see the bearing here. So that bearing it'll run up against the template, and then I will get my assistant to show this in action. I need someone to video me, so I'll go grab my assistant. And here's my helper to do the videoing for me. Okay, so I'm gonna do some cutting here. Well, you can probably see the problem. The template bit was only like an inch wide, so I did both sides, but then now I gotta get the middle cut out somehow. So I'm gonna have to do some handwork. I don't know if would have been a better way to do this, but this is how I'm doing it. We'll see how it goes. Some action shots here using spoke shave. Just cleaning out a couple of the mortises here with my chisel. And then that's going to be for holding the vertical posts. I'll have to trim down the tenon here. It's a little bit oversized on purpose because I like to make it snug and fine tune it later. So the legs and stuff are close to being done. I'll show you those later. Now the piece I'm working on, it's I'll show you. It's this board that I got attached to my vise here. This is going to go across to give some stability between the two legs. This here is my Japanese Ryobi saw, so I'm going to do some handwork here to try and cut this tenon-like thing here. Well, that last cut didn't quite go as planned. I was using the Ryobi for it, but I think it's the Japanese saw. I'm going to switch over to the Dozuki, which is a very similar saw. Difference is this one's got the stiff top, but you are limited, the depth of the cut, you're limited to this height, but should be okay. You have a little bit more control with this guy, a little bit. Hey, so I'm just about to do the glue up here. This is a dry fit right now. So what I've got is this front piece here. That's my tenon there. These guys are floating tenons in the curved pieces, and then I'm gonna put the top on. The dry fit looks good, so basically ready to glue this guy up. One thing I did is did a little bit of a round over bit on the corners. So finally finished up the base. This is it here, just a dry fit. And actually, if you look at here, I'm using these guys here so I can assemble it and disassemble it, because these things are actually really heavy. So I want to be able to carry it upstairs. I'm not gonna glue this together, and then you could tap those pegs in afterwards. Now I'm gluing up the top here. Got the tables all glued together now. I'll show you here. Even though I've tried my best to glue this up straight, it's never going to be perfect. So what I've got here is a straight edge, and then what I'm looking for is the high spot. So any high spots, I'll mark it down, make a little scribble mark with a pencil. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over this with some of my hand planes to try and get this flat and level. So to get this thing flat, I've got two toys here. So this is my it's a Veritas low angle jack plane. The blades at a low angle, obviously, and this is sort of my workhorse. This guy's gonna do most of the flattening work. And then my new Christmas present that I got is this is the 4.5. Again, it's the Veritas version. So it's got a wider base, as you can see, wider, and a shorter length, so it's a little nicer for doing some final smoothing. And if I do this right, hopefully I won't have to do too much sanding. So here I'm using the epoxy resin, where just filling in the cracks, and I let that settle, and then we'll sand it down. This crack I didn't fill in because it actually goes all the way through, and so this is the bottom side I'm gonna tape that and flip it over and do the other side later. So to get the hardened epoxy off, I found this trick on the internet. Sanded it off. Now it kind of looks like that. That's what the epoxy filled in. Taping up the holes that I know go all the way through. Then going to flip it over and then do the epoxy again. Finally, it's time to put the finish on. Using this stuff here, it's Osmo Poly-X Hard Wax Oil. So just the finish is still wet here, but I don't think it'll change color too much when it dries. We'll have to wait and see. And then I'll give it a light scuff sanding and then another coat after. Hey, so with the top looking like this, it was just really difficult to find a color for the legs. Like the natural maple legs that I built was a very, very white color wood. So what kind of, you can see all the crazy colors going on in this top. So I ended up doing, I'm doing an aniline dye, which looks terrible. And it only looks bad now because I just put it on. It's kind of blotchy right now, as you can see. I'm trying to match the color of that top. But once I sand it down a bit and then put the oil on, it'll look okay. Just it looks pretty bad right now. We'll see how it goes. Legs turned out okay. It actually matches to the table pretty good, so no need to worry about that anymore. I'll just put these guys in here, because this tabletop is so heavy. I would like to be able to add and remove these legs easily, for installing it and that sort of thing, because there's no way I'm carrying the whole thing by itself with the legs attached. Pretty much done now. All that's left is to try and get this beast upstairs. Gonna have to call in some reinforcements for that. All right, it's my buddy Paul. He's gonna help me carry it up. Don't worry, man. You're not gonna be TikTok famous or YouTube famous.
Oh, why not?
It's going on YouTube. There's the table done.